High above the Australian wilderness, eucalyptus leaves sway gently beneath the burning sunlight as tiny newborn Koala begins the most dangerous journey of his life. Blind, fragile, and no larger than a jelly bean, little Koala struggles desperately across the thick fur of his mother. Tiny claws grip tightly against the moving fur while harsh wind rushes through the towering trees around him. Every microscopic step becomes a battle for survival as the newborn inches upward toward safety. Panting heavily from exhaustion, helpless Koala crawls slowly closer to the warm dark pouch waiting above him. The rhythmic breathing of his mother rocks the tiny Joey gently while endless forest sounds echo beneath the canopy. Finally, the exhausted newborn reaches the entrance of the pouch and slips safely into complete warmth and darkness. Hidden from the brutal outside world, little Koala attaches himself to life-giving milk deep within the pouch. Days quietly pass while the mother rests high above the forest floor cradling the fragile Joey inside her body. Outside, the harsh Australian sun scorches the wilderness, but newborn Koala sleeps peacefully in total safety. Slowly, soft fur begins growing across his tiny body while his strength quietly increases with every passing day. Then one afternoon, danger creeps silently through the branches below. Rough scales scrape violently against bark as a gigantic goanna lizard slowly climbs toward the pouch hiding Koala. The predator flicks its forked tongue through the air searching for the scent of vulnerable prey. Deep inside the pouch, frightened little Koala curls into a silent trembling ball. His mother opens her eyes, instantly sensing the deadly threat approaching her child. The giant lizard climbs closer and closer while sharp claws dig deeply into the tree trunk. Cold, predatory eyes lock directly onto the pouch where tiny Koala hides helplessly. Then suddenly the mother explodes into action. Sharp claws slash downward violently, forcing the predator backward across the branch. The enraged goanna hisses aggressively while trying desperately to reach the Joey hidden inside the pouch. Using her full body weight, the fearless mother slams directly against the branch, protecting little Koala at all costs. The giant lizard finally loses balance and retreats downward into the forest, defeated and frustrated. Safe once more, newborn Koala slowly relaxes while his mother carefully settles back into the canopy above. Weeks later, sunlight pours through the eucalyptus leaves as a slightly furry Koala finally peeks from the pouch for the first time. Wide, innocent eyes blink slowly against the blinding brightness of the Australian wilderness. Carefully, the tiny koala climbs from the pouch and grips tightly onto his mother's broad back. Far below him stretches an endless sea of towering eucalyptus trees and dangerous shadows. Strong wind shakes the branches violently while Koala clings tightly during the terrifying climb through the canopy. Then suddenly a giant shadow sweeps across the treetops above him. High in the endless blue sky, a massive wedge-tailed eagle circles silently with deadly eyes locked directly onto little Koala. The predator unleashes a piercing scream before folding its enormous wings into a terrifying dive straight toward the helpless Joey. Frightened beyond words, Koala buries his tiny face deep into his mother's fur. Leaves explode through the air as the protective mother scrambles desperately across the branches, shielding Koala beneath her body. The eagle's massive talons slash through empty air only inches away from the trembling Joey. Again and again the predator dives viciously while the mother navigates through dense foliage, trying desperately to escape. Kokoa grips tighter than ever before while violent wind and chaos consume the treetops around him. Finally, thick eucalyptus branches block the predator's path completely and the frustrated eagle abandons the hunt. Exhausted but alive, little Kokoa slowly lifts his head and stares across the peaceful forest once more. His mother gently offers him a fresh eucalyptus leaf and Kokoa carefully tastes solid food for the very first time. Bitter flavors fill his mouth while he slowly learns the harsh diet that will sustain him through life. Days pass peacefully as Kokoa begins practicing climbing independently across the rough tree bark. The young koala reaches carefully for distant branches while strong wind challenges his balance high above the forest floor. Confidence slowly grows inside the once helpless Joey. But hidden far below in the dry grass, another predator begins stalking him silently. A hungry dingo prowls beneath the trees with cold eyes fixed upward toward unsuspecting young Kokoa. Completely unaware of the danger below, the playful koala happily munches eucalyptus leaves high above the ground. Suddenly his mother releases a deep warning growl that echoes through the branches. Startled, Kokoa looks downward just as the dingo crouches and prepares for a massive leap directly toward him. In one explosive movement, the predator launches upward through the air with jaws wide open. At the final second, his mother lunges downward and grabs Kokoa tightly, pulling him higher into the canopy. The dingo's jaws snap shut violently upon empty air before the predator crashes heavily into dead branches below. Shaken and terrified, Kokoa clings tightly to his mother while the defeated predator retreats back into the forest shadows. Time passes relentlessly across the Australian wilderness until Kokoa grows into a fully mature koala warrior of the canopy. Now larger and muscular, adult Kokoa rests confidently within the fork of a towering eucalyptus tree beneath the glowing sunset sky. His thick fur moves gently in the cool evening wind while scars of survival mark his powerful body. Then deep within the darkness comes another threat. A massive carpet python slithers silently through the branches toward sleeping Kokoa beneath the moonlight. Cold scales wrap tightly around the tree while the giant serpent prepares to strike. Suddenly adult Kokoa awakens and locks eyes with the deadly predator only inches away from his face. The python explodes forward at lightning speed, attempting to coil around the koala's body. But this time Kokoa is no helpless Joey. With explosive strength, the battle-hardened koala blocks the attack using powerful arms and razor-sharp claws. The canopy shakes violently while the enormous snake struggles desperately to overpower the surprisingly fierce survivor. Leaves rain downward across the forest floor as the brutal battle erupts high above the darkness below. The python tightens itself around the branch, trying to crush Kokoa beneath overwhelming force. But adult Kokoa bites viciously into the predator's thick scales, forcing the serpent backward. The enraged snake hisses furiously while Kokoa rises tall upon the branch, puffing out his chest in fearless defiance. Realizing the koala is too strong to defeat, the massive python slowly retreats into the shadows, defeated. Breathing heavily beneath the rising dawn, victorious Kokoa watches carefully until the predator disappears completely from the forest. Golden morning sunlight illuminates the powerful survivor as he stretches proudly across the canopy. Adult Kokoa strips fresh eucalyptus leaves from the branches while every sound of the forest surrounds him peacefully. Far below stretches the endless wilderness that once threatened his fragile newborn life. Now standing confidently at the very top of the tallest eucalyptus tree, Koala gazes proudly across the Australian horizon like a true guardian of the canopy. No longer the tiny helpless newborn crawling blindly toward safety, Koala has become a legendary master of the forest shaped by courage, endurance, instinct, and relentless survival.